Hello, today we are making cinnamon rolls. I've prepared all my ingredients. That includes 5 ounces of water, 23 grams of yeast, 1 ounce of dry milk powder, 3 eggs, 4 ounces of cake flour, 1 pound of bread flour, 3 ounces of sugar, 11 grams of salt, and 1 ounce of butter. Our first step is to combine the water, the dry milk powder, and the yeast with a mixer. Now that we have mixed the water, yeast, and non-fat or the milk, dried milk, until the yeast is dissolved, we're going to add the remaining ingredients, which includes the cake flour, kosher salt, butter, sugar, bread flour, and eggs. And we were going to mix this until it comes up to the cleanup stage. As you can see, it's starting to come together. We're not quite there yet. And I'll also note that you should be using your dough hooks or paddle dough hook if you're using a mixer. As you can now see, we're at that cleanup stage. Now we're going to transfer this to a board and finish kneading by hand. Before I go to the next step, I'm going to make sure I clean down my workstation. It's always important to do. First thing we're going to do is throw some flour down on our board to keep it from sticking. And then we're going to take our dough, take it out of its pot. Some more on here. And then we start to work it. So we want to work this dough until it bounces back when I poke it. You see it's not quite there yet, so I'm going to keep working on it. Okay, seems like we're about there. So let's go ahead and give it a poke, see if it bounces back. You see how it bounced right back? Means your dough's ready for the next step, which we're going to let it rise. Call this bulk fermentation, and we're going to put that in a covered bowl and let it rise for about an hour. I like to do mine with some boiling water in an oven, on a cold oven, and a pot of boiling water. so I'm going to go ahead and place my dough into the oven, covered. It's a cold oven, but I'm going to put some boiling water in there with it to kind of raise the temperature up just a bit to promote a good rise. So we're going to wait an hour and we'll be back. So while we're waiting for our dough to rise, we're going to go ahead and put together the topping, which is going to be a cream cheese icing. That will include 8 ounces of cream cheese softened, 2 ounces of butter softened, 4 ounces of sifted powdered sugar, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, and a pinch of salt. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and sift my powdered sugar straight into the bowl, then I'm going to mix it in. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and start mixing this up until it comes into a smooth, nice icing. Alright, my icing has come together. I'm going to transfer this to a small bowl and keep it covered to use later when we top our cinnamon. Another thing we can do while we're waiting for our bread to rise is to go ahead and make our filling, the cinnamon sugar filling that's going to go into our cinnamon rolls. That consists of 3 ounces of softened butter, half a tablespoon of cinnamon, and about 4 ounces of brown sugar. We're going to go ahead and use a hand mixer to mix that up and prepare the spread. Okay, we're going to go ahead and mix our filling. Alright, we're just about done mixing up our filling here. So we're going to go ahead and put this aside in a covered container. So when we're ready to use it, we'll be set to go. And I'm just going to do a little cleanup in between while we wait for our cinnamon bun dough to rise. Okay, as you can see, our dough has done a beautiful job of rising. So we're going to now go ahead and put it out on a flour board and we're going to roll it out. Let me go ahead and get a little flour on here. We're working to get this dough about 1/8 of an inch thick and a nice rectangular coming to very quickly. Okay, as you can see, we got our dough nicely rolled out to a nice rectangular. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and add our filling, that beautiful brown sugar. Alright, so what I did is I put it in the microwave for just a little bit to make it a little bit easier to spread out. And now we just spread it out all the way to the edges. Now the next step is to go ahead and start rolling it. So we'll start very small, just like here. to roll it. Then when we get to the top here, we're going to kind of pinch it so that it stays put. Okay, the other thing we want to do is we kind of want to squish it up so it kind of evens up a little bit here. Some parts a little bit fatter. Alright, there you have it. So next up we're going to go ahead and cut this to our desired slices. We're going to do about 1.5 inches or so. Slicing them, I've gone ahead and arranged them onto a pan with enough space apart so that they can expand. And now what we're going to do is we're going to place them back into that cold oven with the boiling water to let it rise one more time before baking. All right, it's been about an hour and these have doubled in size. So now we're going to preheat the oven to 350 and cook these for about 45 minutes to an hour. All cooked. Now we're going to let these cool. Once they cool, we'll put the icing on and then we're ready to go. There you go, finished product.